top 15 Jesuit scientific discoveries and contribution. First comes a refinement of the Gregorian calendar.
I got to give props to the Jesuit priests. I'm not going to say, no, I'm taking the Christianity out of this reference, because they figured out the calendar that we all use, and it's a fucking awesome count. Sorry to drop an F-bomb there. But so I'm not, just because some atheists are telling me to rid God out of everything in the universe, I'm not doing that. I'm going to say, they came up with this calendar. The reasons were because they didn't want to confuse it with Passover. The motivation is whatever it is, but the science is good.
I think even Einstein also had a meeting with one of the Jesuits. So that way they have been collaborating in multiple ways.
Georges, I don't know how to pronounce it, is the father of Big Bang. I mean, it's surprising it's coming from a Jesuit.
Every knowledge, it becomes a Plato in a particular situation. So after some time, I am seeing the new reality, new dimension. We need to be open for the knowledge. So if somebody says, I know everything, that is the beginning of the end.
The part 2, Jesuits and science. This is the most interesting. I mean, my inclination, I like science. So this would be my favorite part about Jesuits. There have been a lot of scientists, Jesuits. And for the fact I mentioned earlier in the first part, where Jesuits are the one who introduced Western scientific methodology to China. And right now in the present day, China is leading nation in terms of number and quality of scientific papers published every day and every year, including, it's beating United States. So credit goes to Jesuits. And not just that, but also, as per my knowledge, Jesuits invented Gregorian calendar, which everybody in the world follows it. They have been, even the Big Bang, the origin of the universe, was a Jesuit, one who formulated that theory. I mean, in spite believing in a God-created world in 7 days, Jesuits saying it happened through Big Bang. It's quite interesting. What is the association of Jesuit and science? Why are Jesuits inclined to science?
As I told you earlier, ratio studiorum basically refers to systematic way of studying. There are some rules and regulations are there. I said basically it's a total person. When you say about the total person, persons are in a particular context. We are living here on earth, but we are surrounded by multiple other things. Whether they are plants, whether they are animals, whether they are stars, whether they are galaxies. So that way, there is this God dimension wherein you feel as a human being, we want to explore. What is science all about? It is basically observing in a systematic, orderly manner. What do I see today? What do I see tomorrow? What do I see a little later? So if there is a kind of a systematic, documented type of knowledge is there, that becomes a great advantage. Also, you see various types of classifications. So classifications are also done based on observations. Earlier, if I had to use the scientific terms, we were using like morphology. As I see a contour as such, we plant a line, we say habit as such. Like if you have to use astronomy and all these things, how the stars are appearing, what is their surface as such, or where they are present, how they are present. So based on these studies and observations, and also the role of the lenses as such, whether it's a microscope, whether it's a telescope, there was a kind of an interest was there. So that is why they said, those who are got interest or those who have got an aptitude, let them learn these natural sciences. Let them learn these other sciences, which can help us to bring knowledge from multiple dimensions, so to appreciate the Lord our Creator. So from that point of view, Jesuits have done their best in multiple areas. Sometimes they are understood, some other time they are misunderstood. So that way, the saga of knowledge or this journey for acquiring knowledge is an ongoing process. Even today also, it is still continuing. So you mentioned something about Gregorian calendar. It was, I think, the Christopher Clavius, I think, and the basic idea here is earlier it was more of a earth-centered type of approach was there, but later the Clavius is the one who was convinced to adapt this Copernican type of a sun-centered cosmos, and accordingly the change begins. So your observations are very important. So he had hand in establishing this Gregorian calendar, which all the other Catholic countries adopted somewhere in 16th century. As a Jesuit astronomer, what way you can see the signs of the time or the observations. Now these observations will help you to understand the reality in a better manner. There can be multiple views, but ultimately what is required is whether I have a proof what I am saying. So this proof will help us. So that is why, as you are familiar with the Thomas Kuhn's understanding of paradigm shift, a particular philosophy or a particular understanding may be relevant to a given situation. When I get new knowledge from some other fields or some other areas, my understanding progresses. So that is why there is nothing called as a end in itself. When somebody said, what is there in physics or what is there in chemistry? Everything has been done. It is over. No, there is a new knowledge is developed. So maybe before the discovery of electricity, before the discovery of light, they must have thought, no, we know everything, it is over. But now they see something new. So that way we need to have that kind of openness. We don't know just now. Every field, there is a new knowledge is possible. But all depends on those people who can dream, who can think in a reflective manner, in a creative manner. So this critical thinking will understand, this is the problem is there. We are not in a position to understand. So can we reflect about this? During our lifetime may not be possible to solve certain problems. But maybe after some time, it becomes a kind of a knowledge storehouse as such. So you are gathering knowledge that will become on the shoulders of our yesterfathers, we will develop further. So that is why these theories, these predictions, this understanding will be a great help for the future as such. From that point of view, Jesuits have contributed much in different fields.
Right.
So whether it is in natural sciences, I am part of that particular background. So that way it comes naturally for me to say natural sciences. But well, the other fields also, whether it's in geography or whether it is in astronomy and all these things, they have contributed much.
Right.
And I believe even the certain stars are named after Jesuits.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. So even you guys have, Jesuits have the mindset that there's no know-it-all. Like there's no end to knowledge.
Yeah.
There is no answer for everything.
Right. See, we need to be open for the knowledge. So if somebody says, I know everything, that is the beginning of the end. So that is why we are saying, I know something and I am certain about this part, what I have studied. But tomorrow, new knowledge may come in. So that is why when we are doing the discovery or research is nothing but you are observing new phenomena which is taking place. A particular experiment work in a one condition, while in other condition it may not work. That is why what are the factors which are responsible?
So now let's get it to the interesting part. Can you share some examples of Jesuit scientists, historical examples, where they have contributed to science? There's a huge list, but can you share any top 5 or top 10 is also great.
There are many scientists are there. Maybe one name comes to me is Théodore Chardin. Now this particular scientist is from French background, but he goes to China. And you may be familiar with this paleontology,
right?
Paleo kind of studies, or Peking man. Now he was involved this kind of study of both plants as well as animals. Now here the basic idea is you see what are the remnants are there of the past. Maybe from the geology, maybe from botany, maybe from zoology. From this particular elements, whatever the fragmented knowledge is there, you construct a kind of a knowledge. So he was involved in this particular process of knowledge creation, wherein he brings in this particular knowledge from this paleontology background. Paleontology basically refers to I get the knowledge from the past, looking at these skeletons maybe, or what are the structures of that, anatomical type of features. So that way he has contributed much for science, as well as he was involved in Jesuit theology, philosophy, natural, normal kind of studies as a priest also.
Okay.
This is one scientist I'm...
There's one question here followed by that. You said paleontology, study of our past.
Yeah,
So which proves evolution.
yeah.
Which year was he? What was his timeline?
He was in the 18th century.
Okay.
Yeah.
Didn't he get any resistance from Catholic, Roman Catholic order for supporting evidence on evolution? Like there's there must be. I mean, it must have been. I don't know. I'm just assuming. Back in those days, there is a creation theory, God creation theory. God created the world in 7 days. And this priest, Jesuit priest you mentioned, who did his studies in paleontology, which
Yeah.
proves onto a fact of Darwinian theory, which is on evolution,
Yeah,
studying the past. So, how do you guys? And that's also a present question as well. How Catholic Church balances evolution and creation theory.
Maybe I will quote one of the Jesuit scientists. Sometimes the misunderstanding comes because of your allegiance to a particular political association. Sometimes church is constrained by the political situation in a particular time frame as such in history. So it is not necessarily the problem with science or religion. So as Jesuits, sometimes church may not have accepted whatever they said. When it comes to this theory, church has been little on the, we need to have certain caution, because faith seeks understanding. So when you speak about theology, there is this element of faith. But at the same time, you cannot do away with the reason. It has to be filled with rationality also. So when it comes to Theodeshadayan, initially there was certain amount of skepticism in the Catholic Church. But not that he was given certain warnings about his writings and his theological interpretations. Caution is always good, because it should not hurt the sentiments and the faith of the people. So that way, church has done this particular manner. But at the same time, posthumously he was recognized and his influence was accepted in a way. Despite initial censure, church accepted his works are good, and his works as a scientist, as a theologian, as a philosopher, it has got its own value as such. So that way you can say church is a dynamic body which is ready to see the reality from the today's context as such. So that is why the knowledge can come from multiple quarters. We need to keep the doors and the windows open so that the church also may be enlightened from multiple point of view also. From that point of view, there was a ongoing type of a debate, and reassessment was done, and accordingly the changes are brought in. So when you say about this creation and evolution, at one level it is a faith dimension, but we cannot have a dialogue with the fanatics as such. What is important is, one is the faith element, another one is the rationality element, and also when we need to have a dialogue, we need to have a dialogue with those people we are at a similar parlance. From that point of view, we need to be very delicate in our approach as such. So in today's context, we are saying you need to be modern people. At one level, you take the tools which are necessary in today's context, but also you take what is the time-tested gospel values or the church values. It has to go hand in hand.
Okay. So hence my question. Okay, second scientist.
This is from more of a Indian context.
Mm-hmm.
And this scientist by name Blatter, he was involved in Bombay Natural History Society
Mm-hmm.
in the earlier 20th century. And his contribution has been immense when it comes to plant related studies. So, if you go to Xavier's College, Mumbai, you have got a beautiful Blatter herbarium wherein you have these flora of Indus Delta as well as ferns of Bombay area. There are multiple other lay people also were involved, but he was instrumental to create this kind of a knowledge. Now, what is the role of this Father Blatter has been to ensure the things are preserved. And they say it is one of the beautiful herbarium. Herbarium basically refers to you take one particular plant, you process it, and you mount on a paper or sheet of paper with all the details: who has collected, where it is collected, what are the features of that, how the flowers look like that, so that it becomes a kind of a monument or a kind of like we say, a witness. Like this is the original material wherein you are going to identify, this is the plant, and other people can refer it. So that way it is a kind of a great blessing having this herbarium as such, and also this knowledge can be documented. So from that point of view, the contribution of Father Ether, I don't know how to pronounce this. So this,
But you mean he invented herbarium technique?
not invented. Herbarium has been there,
But introduced herbarium to India.
that also is difficult to say because I'm not sure about other parts of India. But when it comes to Bombay area, he was instrumental to create this Blatter herbarium. Now also the things are available, and I had the fortune to participate in one of the seminars in Blatter herbarium and how they have contributed for the flora in the western region, especially in the Bombay area. I will concentrate more in the plant line as such. One more scientist is by name Santapu. Santapu also is a person. See, most of these are foreigners, but they came to India. They fell in love with our nature, and they felt something has to be done to preserve this nature. So, from that point of view, Santapu also contributed much. Now, he was involved in this Royal Asiatic Society of Bengal. Also, he was involved in this Botanical Society of Bengal. Then, also part of Bombay Natural History Society. The basic idea is, even though they are from a foreign background, when they came to India, they became part and parcel of Indian society. There are different types of societies are there to conserve. So they try to make use of their knowledge how to ensure the quality of the work here. So Santapu also was involved in Bombay, especially in St. Xavier's institution. He contributed much for the conservation of these plants. Another scientist I would like to bring from Tamil Nadu background. His name is Father K.M. Matthew. K.M. Matthew is of this century only in a way, whom I have met also in Trichy. And he has been called as a very productive Indian taxonomist. He was involved also in this. Basically, all these scientists are trying to preserve the biodiversity. Preserve the biodiversity in such a way to identify them, to create these floras. He was involved in this Tamil Nadu Carnatic flora. He was also involved in creating all these herbarium. As I mentioned to you earlier, Blatter herbarium. Father K.M. Matthew also was involved in creating these floras, especially focused to Tamil Nadu. Now, when you create a flora of a particular region, now Bombay, we have got a Blatter herbarium, and here you have got a Tamil Nadu Carnatic type of a flora. When these floras are put together, it becomes a great knowledge as a Indian flora. So, from each of the floras, we can take the necessary type of knowledge, and accordingly, we can develop further. K.M. Matthew also was involved in bioprospecting. When I say about the bioprospecting, basically, what way can we take the necessary type of products from the plants? For example, in the forest area, you have got, these are the flowering plants. Flowers have got a great value. Or maybe they are having certain oil content maybe. Or they have certain medicinal type of values. Or they are growing in a particular location. So accordingly, he tried to recreate that particular type of situation, growing them in different places also. From that point of view, his contribution is something great. That is Father K.M. Matthew.
So I see Jesuits are really good at documenting things. Really good.
Yeah,
They have a systematic order of...
correct. If you go to Shembaganur, our museum is there. And
where is it?
Shembaganur.
Where is it?
In Kodaikanal.
Okay.
Kodaikanal, maybe some 4-5 kilometers when you come down the hills as such. You've got a very good center there. Also, we got an orchidarium also. Orchid cultivation.
Wow.
Orchidarium we say.
Nice.
One is there in Yerkad area. One more is there in Kodaikanal.
Maintained by Jesuits.
In Kodaikanal. So, with the demise of Father K.M. Matthew, now the next priest has taken over by name Father Brito. He too has been extensively working. Now is a senior priest. So, as the Jesuits, like from one person, the next person continues. But sometimes you may not have the original charism. But still the continuity is going on. They will multiply or they will go to different aspects of a particular subject. Another scientist I have fond memories is Father Cecil Saldana. He
Seems Mangalorean.
Mangalorean.
Okay.
He's from Mangalore background, but he worked extensively in Bangalore. He was part of St. Joseph's College in the Department of Botany. And his passion was towards Western Ghats, conservation of Western Ghats. And he was involved in this Western Ghat region as well as Southern Plateau, Northern Plateau, also West Coast plains. So that way, whole over Karnataka, he was involved in taxonomical related works. Also, he was involved in environment pollution related studies. Also, he was involved. Now, Cecil has got 2 volumes, or like a special contribution as a scientist. That is, one is a flora of Hassan, another one is the flora of Karnataka. Now, he worked with Dr. Nicholson from Smithsonian Institute from US, and part of this project he worked, and their contribution has been excellent. And today also the students of botany refer to this floras and appreciate that. And Father Cecil also has got one more book along with Josna, one of the scientists, and wherein they have got all beautiful flowers. Now, when you look at the flora, it is basically the knowledge is given in a very systematic, orderly manner, wherein you have got the photograph of the plants, you have got the details of how the flowering season or how the flowers look like. Now, from that point of view, it is a great contribution by Father Cecil Saldana. And his all the collections, whatever he has done, now they are part of Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore.
Nice.
St. Joseph's College, we kept it for some time, but later we had little difficulty with the space and so on, and accordingly it was handed over to them. If you go to the website, there is something called as JCS, Joseph's College JCB, Joseph's College Bangalore. So in that name, this herbarium is there in the Indian Institute of Science, and they are maintaining it quite well. There is one professor by name, I think, Shankar Rao. He is maintaining that, though he is elderly in age, but he is maintaining it, and you will get all the information about the plants in Karnataka. There is something good. And the person who worked with Cecil, they recollect the memory. Now he is a professor in Harvard in States, and he feels by name one of the Gandhis. So this particular, I think I forget his full name. Gandhi says, Cecil gave me a chance to work with him. He did not have a great knowledge about botany or the plants as such, but he had that enthusiasm and spirit. Science is possible for those people who have got the desire to learn and who have got the enthusiasm to learn. Basically, you need to observe and accordingly infer what is happening to a particular plant maybe, or to a particular ecological niche maybe. So that is what is important. And also when you look at the plants, whether they are small plants, whether they are big plants, whether they are growing on something else, so that is why you have got different categories are there. Now we have some scientists who are basically dealing with the only maybe cryptogams, maybe small type of plants. Others may be dealing with mosses maybe. Others may be dealing with ferns maybe. Others are dealing with the flowering type of plants or non-flowering type of plants. So that way you have got a multiple kinds of things. So Father Cecil was involved basically in these angiosperms or flora of the Hassan district, flora of Karnataka. So these were his monumental type of works. Many other things also he was involved.
So are these scientific exploration, are they orders from the superior or they following their curiosity?
Oh, this is a very interesting question.
Thank you.
See, superiors can always suggest you go for this subject or you go for that subject. But also it depends on the passion of the person. Sometimes a particular person may be from some other background, but there is a need is there. But it all depends on the interest of the person also. Then superiors will feel, yeah, this person has got the capacity and he has done well in this particular studies, let him go ahead. So we can't say only one-sided, both.
So you, before doing a scientific research, like before stepping into that area of research, do you guys have to get the permission from your superior in the hierarchical order?
Yeah, generally we need to get the permission. Like for example, you are involved in the a particular department. Today we speak of teaching and research is part and parcel of any institute. So Father Cecil was part of the St. Joseph's College, Bangalore. So as a department person, they had that interest. And they also applied for this project. They got this project. Accordingly, it became part and parcel of the study of St. Joseph's. And he also comes up with the Taxonomy Center in Bangalore. And this Taxonomy Center was a great blessing because multiple people were working and also documenting the knowledge is something great. You have to go to the field. You have to spend a lot of time. That is why the number of field days also is important. So it means you are gone there. Today we speak also of geotagging. So whenever you are going to a particular place, you have to authenticate that you have done properly this particular day. You have gone, taken the photo. Those parameters also will be there in the photograph. Now this modern technology has helped us to have more and more data. Now these data will be a great help. What is the temperature in a particular place? What is the climate? What is the soil conditions? What are the type of vegetation is there? So that way it is a great blessing. Yeah.
So any other scientist you have in mind?
These two scientists are from Tamil Nadu, Madurai province. One is Anglad, one more is Rapinath. Now, one thing I must say, these scientists, as per my knowledge, they had that kind of a vision and farsightedness. And what they did was conserving the gene pool as such. They got the plants from some other areas. Like for example, we speak of Western Ghat region, we speak of Northern Himalayas, and whether we can conserve these plants from one place to the other place also. Now, this gene pool conservation is their great contribution. Now, as I mentioned to you, Shamagnur is one place where they have plenty of plants. And they got these plants from Kerala forests. They got these plants from Kurseong from the north in Darjeeling area. So that way is something great that they got, especially the orchid plants, which are beautiful, which has got a great value as such. Now, this scientist by name Rapinath, he also made a lot of collections, especially with these bryophytes we speak of, liverbirds. Now, these are small, tiny kind of plants, but it has got a great value when we speak of ecological type of their role in the general ecology as such. Because we have got small plants, we have got larger plants as such. He was also involved in the Department of Botany in Trichy. And we have got today Rapinath Herbarium. Now, that also is a great blessing. Now, herbarium I am touching upon again and again. Now, these scientists have done a great contribution. Now, also the college has digitalized this herbarium. So, which means this knowledge is available. You may be familiar with this Kew Gardens, London. Now, you take a clue from there how they are maintaining. Similar way they are maintaining also in our institutions, whether it is in Bombay, whether it is in Bangalore, or whether it is in Chennai, Trichy. So that way it is something good. So you get the knowledge from multiple places and try to put into practice in our land. Whichever the mission land the Jesuits have been sent, or whichever the place they are working, they try to put into practice these great practices.
You mentioned a lot of, that's a good thing actually, which is not really popular. You mentioned on life sciences, botany, and that too in India, very not well recognized names. So let me also look at Google top list.
Maybe
so if you want to add anything.
Yeah, I will add a couple of other persons also.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. One is Father V.S. Manikam. He worked extensively at Palangote College, Jesuit College in Palangote. And he is not only a scientist, but also a poet. When I spent some evenings with him, looking at those Palani hills, appreciating the beauty of the nature. So he has written some poems also, mainly in Tamil, what he has written, and he was trying to explain to me the beauty, grandeur, and so on. I was not in a position to appreciate, but at the same time, you can understand the happiness and joy of the person. He extensively worked with the ferns. We call them as pteridophytes.
Right.
So that way, whenever somebody says our pteridophytes, V.S. Manikam's name will come. I heard one of the scientists wanted to check with the Kew Garden, London, and they apparently seem to have said, kindly refer to Manikam. Manikam is the authority of the ferns in this area. So which means in the Tamil Nadu belt as such, or the southern India, Manikam has worked extensively.
So, I mean, one more thing I observe is Indian Jesuit scientists are more obsessed on plants.
No, not in that sense. The difficulty is, I am from a plant science background.
Okay.
So my knowledge or my allegiance is towards these people.
Right.
But there are others also who have worked in physics, mathematics, literature. But I am not having that kind of a knowledge in this particular area.
Right.
There are also who have done extensive work in the line of physics, astronomy, and such kind of things. Now, if you see there is one brother by name Consal Mango, who is the director of Vatican Observatory, and he has done extensive work. And I think in Arizona and other places, you have these big telescopes.
Right.
And one of our Jesuit from Goa province, he is also working there. So they are nearly, I think, 10 of them from all over the world. So if Jesuits have got some common venture, they can call people from all over the world. So that way, the church needs people to understand the reality in today's context, and what way we can further the knowledge as such. So it is not only the faith dimension, but also existential reality through the modern tools also. So from that point of view, extensive work has been done, and they are doing also.
I mean, it's interesting to know that Vatican has an observatory. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay, maintained by Jesuits.
Jesuits are working.
Okay.
But there are other scientists also.
I mean, what is the area of focus? What are they looking up for?
I will not be able to give you an answer directly. Okay. But based on my understanding, what they look at is like the composition of the stars, or various parameters, how the galaxy is there. So also they have got, the individual scientists, they have got their own interest. Whether it's the element of water, whether it's the element of soil, whether the element of something else. So they have their own projects given by various funding agencies.
So Google says, I just typed top 15 Jesuit scientific discoveries and contribution. Yeah. First comes a refinement of the Gregorian calendar. Yeah. Christopher Clavius played a pivotal role in creating Gregorian calendar, which is still used today.
True.
Even I've seen videos of Neil D. Grayson, who credited Jesuits, who appreciated Jesuits.
And, okay, Leap Day is how often? Every 4 years. This was good. Because what are we trying to track? We're trying to, so Earth goes around the sun. And so we say, all right, how long does that take? Well, it takes a year. But it turns out we're not actually tracking how long it takes Earth to go around the sun. We're tracking how long it takes Earth to repeat its seasons. And the year that corresponds to our seasons is slightly different from the year that corresponds to how long it takes to go around the sun. Slightly different. And that difference was not recognized in the early calendars. And that difference accumulated so that by the year 1584, the vernal equinox, the first day of spring, did not occur on March 21st. It occurred on March 10th. It shifted from the calendar date. That's what happens if you don't match the cycles of things. And the Pope said, we're not having any of this, especially since Easter might land on Passover, and we're trying to distinguish ourselves mightily from the Jews. So let's fix this. The Jesuit priests got to study this. They looked at the cycles of the heavens, the sun, the moon, the stars, and they came up with a new calendar, the Gregorian calendar, a modification to the Julian calendar. You know what they had to do? To invoke it, they had to take 10 days out of the calendar. To jumpstart, to put the first day of spring back on March 21st. And this happened in October 1584.
Why has there been...
They took 10 days out of the calendar.
That is
so
crazy.
now how much rent do you pay? They have to invent amortized rent.
Really?
Yeah, because you're going to pay for 3 weeks instead, 20 days instead of 30. That they had to figure that out. Okay? Point is, this was hard earned, and the whole world uses this calendar. It is the most accurate calendar ever devised.
Is
Okay?
it?
Yes, I'll tell you what. Okay, you asked. So watch what happens. The leap day overcorrected the calendar. It overcorrected it.
Overcorrect.
Yes. Yes.
So you need a leap year.
So, sorry, the leap day is every 4 years. That one day every 4 years was slowly putting too many days moments into the year. Okay? The Gregorian calendar figured this out. And it had put 10 extra days since the Julian calendar to the Gregorian calendar. 10 extra days. First, jumpstart. Get rid of the 10 days. Now everything's lined up again.
Okay.
Now, how do you prevent this from happening again? Because it overcorrects, how long do you have to wait to remove a leap day that you would otherwise put in? Okay?
Okay.
That's every 100 years.
Oh.
So every 100 years, that would be a leap day, you remove the leap day.
Oh.
Now, it turns out that undercorrects it by an even smaller amount. Okay? So, how long do you have to wait before you have to put a leap day back in? Every 400 years.
Oh, God.
So, the year 2000 was a century year, which normally would not have a leap day, except it's a century year evenly divisible by 400, so they put the leap day back in. And everybody on almost everybody except the astronomers, on February 29th in the year 2000 said it's just a leap year because it's divisible by 4. No, it is a rare leap year. It is a century year divisible by 400. That corrects it back, and so now you have a stable calendar for tens of thousands of years. I got to give props to the Jesuit priests. I'm not going to say, no, I'm taking the Christianity out of this reference, because they figured out the calendar that we all use, and it's a fucking awesome count. Sorry to drop an F-bomb there. But so I'm not, just because some atheists are telling me to rid God out of everything in the universe, I'm not doing that. I'm going to say, they came up with this calendar. The reasons were because they didn't want to confuse it with Passover. The motivation is whatever it is, but the science is good. And so there it is.
Right.
I've never seen him appreciating religious figures.
Yeah. I think even Einstein also had a meeting with one of the Jesuits. So that way they have been collaborating in multiple ways. Especially when it comes to knowledge, sharing, understanding, discussing, debating, all these are part and parcel of our,
Right. And then second one says telescopic observations. Jesuit astronomers independently confirmed Galileo's telescopic discoveries, contributing to the wider acceptance by the church.
Yeah.
So, so Jesuits are basically Vatican scientists. I mean, they inform
No, in the
the
sense,
truth to the...
the basic idea like this. we are invited to be people thinking with the church.
Okay.
So, like for example, physicians are there to guide the patients. So, what is the role of the Jesuits? Role of the Jesuits have been like whichever the areas of our expertise to share that knowledge with the church. This is what we observe. These are the things are there. So it may take some time. So that is why the communication is very important, and also we need to use the language which is understood and pursued by the simple ordinary people. You may have a ecclesial type of background. Scientific knowledge has to be communicated so that they understand, they appreciate, they are in a position to accept. So it is a process.
Right. Georges, I don't know how to pronounce it, is the father of Big Bang. Like, according to Big Bang theory, the expansion of observable universe began with the explosion of a single particle at a definite point in time. I mean, it's just surprising it's coming from a Jesuit. So
It feels good, but I feel sad that I don't know many things.
okay, so geography and exploration, map making and cartography.
Yeah.
So Jesuits created detailed maps of new territories and contributing to geographical knowledge.
Right.
As I said there, I mean, this thing I observed, like Jesuits are really good at documenting things in a systematic order.
Documentation is the forte, we say.
Mm-hmm.
It is required. The basic idea is for the sake of communication. Like wherever you are going, they say make sure that you preserve the documents which are helpful for the history point of view. Because
Interesting.
history is something is necessary, because what you have done in the past, we can check and verify why a particular group of people are having this particular ways of going about. From that point of view, if you go to Historical Research Center in Goa, you will see a lot of collections. Similarly, if you go to any of now every house there is something called as the archives.
Right.
Now archives, what is the purpose is, so whatever those historical documents of significance, they are maintained. So it will have a great value in the future.
Right.
So with that, you will come to know the lifestyle of a given people in historical times also.
There was a fault with Indian science and mathematics. There was a richness in science and mathematics back in ancient India, but there wasn't a proper way of document. I mean, they failed in documentation.
Yeah.
So, and do you document as it is? I mean, your day-to-day thing. I mean, do you say you're really good at documentation?
No, in the sense, see, basically we are expected to publish. So whatever work you are doing, sometimes many scientists, they have done extensive work, but they are not documented as a publication. If you keep your own notes as such, it may not be available for the public at large. That is why we say today, you make sure that you are going to publish, maybe as a book or maybe as a paper, so that will remain in the digital world or in the libraries. So that way it is a great blessing. So people are trying their best, but we can
Right.
still progress. There is no end as such for communication of your knowledge and finding new things. All these are possibilities.
Right. So Jesuits are explorers. They participated in expeditions to various parts of the world, documenting flora, fauna, and indigenous cultures.
Yeah, earlier we had something called as villa days,
Mm-hmm.
and also they had some Kenzain.
What is that?
Villa days means, like for example, in a week, 1 day holiday. So you take rest or you visit places. And whether it's a theology time, whether it's philosophy time, they said go to the nature, spend some time. Like we speak of trekking. So one thing is your physical fitness, another one is you are in touch with the nature. Kenzain means you take maybe some 15 days of holidays. These holidays can be spent in different ways, whether in reading, whether it's in playing, whether it is being with the nature, in different ways. Now, today we speak of re-energizing yourself. So from that point of view, it is a great help. So when you are going there, you see something beautiful, you collect that. So that if you see the museums, even our museum you will see here, collection of the past old things. Maybe they are stones, maybe they are some metals, maybe they are some documents, they are of a great value. So that way, having the preserving something of the past which has got a present relevance as such. From that point of view, it is very helpful. So Jesuits have been exploring different places. So they have been explorers and also documenting the knowledge in the process.
Okay, and one more interesting thing is Jesuits pioneered study of earthquakes, seismology, establishing the foundation of modern seismology. Yeah, new knowledge for you.
See, other than the life sciences, I'm very
Right.
it is not very familiar to me. But we have people from different background; they'll be able to
Right.
explain. Now we have something called as Jesuits in Science also, a group in India. Now, once in 2 years, we come to share whatever is happening. Just now, Father Ignacy is the like a coordinator for Indian Jesuits. Similarly, all over the world, also we have got those different scientists. Now, the major focus has been what way we can do the conservation type of studies in the context of climate change and so on, or sustainable development type of goals. So there is certain amount of focus is there in that particular line. Now, during this time, people share what they are doing or what is the new knowledge they are coming up with. So that way, it is a kind of a enriching type of thing. So whatever you are sharing, it is something is good. Yeah.
Great. Okay, let's see in observational physics. Jesuits conducted experiments and observations in fields like optics, magnetism, and electricity earlier. Like they were one of the
Right.
first people. Natural sciences, botany and zoology, collected and classified plant and animal specimens, contributing to the development of taxonomy.
Yes, to visit Carl Linnaeus' place also in Sweden.
Interesting.
Yeah. So
Carl Linnaeus, the one who
correct taxonomy.
father of taxonomy.
Correct.
Right.
So that way, it becomes very easy for us to understand. So you see a particular place, how they have done the classification, and accordingly to maintain what is the type of classification today is required. Earlier, it was more of a morphology type of based. Today, we are saying, no, you involve other fields also. Maybe you take from a biochemical point of view, or maybe molecular point of view, or any other genetic point of view. Any other new knowledge is there, whether you can reclassify in a given situation.
Right.
So that way, knowledge is not static. It is progressive in its nature. So it is something good. So Jesuits have contributed much when it comes to natural sciences.
So, what is knowledge to Jesuits? Like, knowledge philosophically doesn't have its own definition. Like, you can't define knowledge, but you can feel knowledge. So, what is knowledge to you? Like, to Jesuits, like how Jesuits view knowledge as?
Once again, it's difficult to define as such what is knowledge for Jesuits per se. But basically, what we see is whatever we are doing, we are trying to document it. Like your observations are there. Sometimes there is a possibility some area somebody else has got this knowledge. The discoveries can take place from two different directions independently also. From that point of view, whatever you are observing, document it. Like you are seeing a particular creature. You are trying to explain the features of that particular creature in multiple angles. So that way it becomes a kind of a knowledge. As somebody else will say, yeah, this is what I see similar. Oh, this is correct. So always we can check, verify, argue and develop. So that way knowledge is your observations basically. Your observation will be helpful for somebody else to proceed further. Now when you are doing some observations, you need to follow ethics also. Now we are in a situation today, we speak of plagiarism. We speak of doing something concocted type of research or manipulated type of research. So that is why we have to be extremely careful to do something ethically right. Because sometimes there is a possibility of hypothetical type of a creation. I say this is the thing, but you have done all these modification by using maybe AI type of tools. So that way we are saying, no, it is not proper. So what you are, because your knowledge will become a foundation for somebody else to continue.
Right.
And if the foundation itself is very weak, it becomes problematic. That is why you will see today many of the papers are withdrawn.
Mm-hmm.
You are doing some experiment and you are getting the results and you are recording it. But if somebody else is trying to recreate that and is not getting the result at all, then they're asking, how did you get? I'm not getting it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm using the same type of factors. Whatever those factors are responsible, I'm not getting it. Then it becomes problematic. Because
Right.
your result is... because sometimes what happens is, sometimes people feel negative result is not a good result. So that is why I need to get the positive result. They try to manipulate the things for various reasons.
Mm-hmm.
If you are under pressure, your performance may not be in the right direction.
Right.
So that way we have to be extremely careful to observe and report what is authentic and truth.
So, next is on meteorology. They established weather observation stations,
Yeah.
laying the groundwork for modern meteorology.
Correct.
Again, observational work.
Yeah.
Really good at observations and
Now if
documentation.
you see, we have got also observatory here.
Yeah, right. Aloysius has now.
Up above on the
right,
sun we have
right.
got. Also St. Joseph also has got.
In Bangalore, St. Joseph, Bangalore. Okay.
Also earlier we had a subject taught also in the St. Joseph's. Institute of Science people used to come and they used to take classes also. I think now they are rejuvenated again.
Okay. Jesuits had a great impact on curriculum development.
Yeah.
Incorporated scientific subjects into educational programs promoting scientific literacy. Publication and scientific works produced and disseminated scientific knowledge through books, journals, and other publications.
Right. Because I mentioned to you about Ashwasudhyoram, that has got a great impact. Because as soon as you say, you are addressing the entire person. So it is not only one particular knowledge, all the multiple type of knowledge, depending on the person's capacity. You pick and choose what you like. Like when you go to a coffee cafeteria, you pick and choose. So similarly, our education should be addressing the holistic growth of the individual persons.
Jesuits are good documenters. They documented historical events and languages of various cultures. And philosophy and science integration. Harmony of faith and reason.
Right.
Promoted the idea that faith and reason are compatible,
Correct.
fostering a culture of intellectual exploration.
Yeah.
So, how do you balance faith and reason?
See, when I say about the faith, it is the basic religious background of a particular person. We have our Christian tradition. We inherit faith from our ancestors at one level. But that doesn't mean that we need not question this faith. Rationality also is required. When somebody tells you, in the Bible it is written 7 days earth has been created. What do you say about the evolution theory? What do you say something else? So you need to balance your approach. Whether you are speaking as a scientist, whether you are speaking as a priest, and what is the type of a crowd what you are speaking, because we should not scandalize the people's faith as such. So depending on the audience, we need to put on those particular roles as such. But that doesn't mean that you should not be rational. So Jesuits' role is to explain in those terms which is understood by the people. Because sometimes we say, why a person died? He died of malaria, he died of something else. But whether we can have some prevention, yeah, try with that prevention also. Give the medicine, whatever is necessary. You go to the doctor. Prayer also is helpful. Because as human beings, there are many things beyond our comprehension. We fall back on our faith. We fall back on prayer. Because we know faith can work wonders. Faith can work miracles. So from that point of view, Jesuits have tried to balance this dimension of faith as well as reason. So scientific exploration endeavors are required and must be done. Also, we have to go hand in hand with our own faith tradition.
There is a famous essayist, Lebanese American. His name is Nassim Nicholas Taleb, one of my favorite. He has written great books on statistics and mathematics. So he once tweeted, "Never antagonize Jesuits. The education is so wide and so deep, they know things you will never suspect they know."
Yeah, we may know many things, but we need not express all the time. That is also there.
Right.
Yeah.
Jesuits pioneered astrophysics, known for their spectral classification of stars. Interesting.
Wonderful.
Stephen J. Perry studied solar physics and made significant contribution to our understanding of the sun. Let's see who else we have missed.
We have an Goan Jesuit who is working in Vatican Observatory. He will be able to answer you all these questions from the point of view of
Okay.
physics as well as asteroids and astrophysics, and also what they are doing in Vatican Observatory.
I would like to go to Vatican Observatory and have a podcast with him.
Wonderful. Yeah. He comes also once in a way to...
I mean, it's better we go there and
Correct.
do it in the
Correct.
observatory.
Yeah.
Jesuits observed terrestrial magnetism, earliest ones to observe.
Yeah, right.
Interesting. And study of earthquake, which is a seismology, was often referred as Jesuit science.
Okay. Jesuit science, when you said, there is also Jesuit bark. I don't know whether you heard of that.
Jesuit bark, tree bark.
Tree bark.
Okay,
That is cinchona.
right.
In the context of malaria, they found those, I do not know originally what is the beginning as such.
Okay.
Yeah. So, they felt all those people who took that particular decoction of that particular bark did not get malaria. So, that is why that led to cinchona bark studies to prevent malaria.
Right.
One caution also is there.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes Jesuits are also blamed for being little proud.
Superiority complex.
Superiority, not exactly superiority complex. Sometimes our knowledge can give us certain kind of a power as such. So that can be your downfall
Right.
because we antagonize people. So from that point of view, today we are asked, we are following a Jesus who is simple, humble and poor. So you may have plenty of knowledge, but you need to be very humane and down to earth. You may be familiar with Father Leo D'Souza.
Right. He was the first. He was the one who brought tissue culture to Mangalore, right?
Correct. He is one of the well-known plant biotechnologists. When it comes to India, Father Leo D'Souza is one of them, especially with the plant tissue culture. And when he came after his studies from Max Planck, he came and met Swaminathan, M.S. Swaminathan, who is known as father of Green Revolution. And he told him, you concentrate on those plants which are growing in your locality. So he suggested you work with coconut. You work with maybe cashew. So accordingly, Father Leo started his tissue culture work with the coconut, and also he started with the cashew. And we have in our lab
Right.
first cashew fruit, what we produce from the plant tissue cultured plant as such.
Yes.
So
back to the
plants.
Yeah, no. Back to the point you were mentioning, Father Leo,
Yeah.
was on the the more knowledge you have away from your idea.
No. Like what I was trying to say is, Father Leo is very knowledgeable when it comes to science. And he is the one who, in 1986, during his time, earlier it was only boys' college. Now we have got girls also. So his desire was, no, we need to have diversity. We need to give space for everyone. We need to include the excluded also. So from that point of view, he started that initiative, and many more other things are there in the scientific world as such. But he has been a simple and humble Jesuit. Basically, to give element of, he was also director of Aloysius Boys Home. He was also director of ITI. So this dimension of Jesuits, you may be a researcher, you may be a principal, you may be a rector, but at the same time, to be with simple, ordinary people. St. Ignatius in the beginning also, he told the Jesuits, see, you may be there in the tent, like a church council, but be with the simple, ordinary people in the hospices, in the hospitals, taking a simple, ordinary. That will make you a very humane and humble person. So that is why we see the element of humor maybe, or these all simple things of life can make life very much enriched. So that is what I was saying about Jesuits need to have a caution not to become proud, so to have that humility in life.
Okay, so what we basically discussed is Jesuit being a religious order. They have a scientific inquiry, scientific temper. How did it all begin? Like, is it uh, uh, like, do they search for God in every aspect, like every aspect of discovery, or even if they're doing, even if you're studying subatomic particle, they named it God particle or something like that. Do they see or uh, God in everything, or do they search for God?
Yeah. Uh, Basically, St. Ignatius' time onwards, he said, find God in all things. That dimension is there as a deep down dimension. But when it comes to individual persons, depending on the place as such, or what is happening in a given situation, they felt like we need to see what is happening, or the beauty of the nature, or preserve these things, or try to appreciate. Maybe write as a poem, or maybe write as a essay, or whatever the things are there, or preserve them in a systematic, orderly manner. So, what we are trying to say is uh, sustainability has been our goal. So, when you are doing something, make sure that it is there for the posterity or for the next generation also. So, basically, this nature is there for the sake of everyone and every creature. They have their own space as such. We should not exploit and manipulate only for the selfish purpose as such. So, what is necessary, you do it. But Jesuits, I feel, by and large, have tried to put into practice to find God in all things and accordingly conserve nature.
Interesting. So that brings me to another interesting question. How do you see or visualize God in a as a scientific Jesuit?
The aspect of awe and wonder is part and parcel of my life. I know very little of everything. When I see the rain, I may explain based on my basic knowledge, this is what happens and so on. But it's difficult for me to comprehend where it is going, where it is coming, or even these clouds, even this nature, all these things, the phenomena which is taking place, and how a particular bird is behaving. I don't know. I was very much fascinated by those birds, the nesting behavior of a particular bird. How beautifully they build the nest as such. What architectural type of a beauty, or even this flower, their ornamentation or this coloration as such. It is very difficult to understand. But the idea is maybe it goes back to that faith dimension to say there is a creator, which I cannot understand as such. Even my own life also, sometimes we feel, I don't know, that kind of a feeling is there. But there is a master builder is there who puts all things in a proper perspective. From that point of view, I feel God is that kind of a reality in my life where I feel I am guided, I am given directions, or I feel that happiness and joy in life. There are difficulties, there are struggles. Sometimes on a cloudy day, you may not see the sun. But after some time, you have faith. No, continue. After some time, the clouds will disappear. The once again, sun will reappear. So that kind of a hope, that kind of a like constant, like some support system. That way, I feel God
So
becomes.
you see God as a father figure or form of energy or invisible force, or you refer nature to visualize God?
Yeah, in the sense, it is not easy for me to say only this, only that. Yeah, maybe this, yeah, maybe that, maybe something else. So, at one level, from a Christian tradition, Christian religious point of view, we articulate in a particular manner. But when it comes to my life experiences, yes, all these things are true and maybe beyond also. I fail to get the words to
So
express.
okay.
Yeah. In the sense,
How far have you come to that realization? I mean, it's not complete,
Yeah,
even if
yeah.
you die to that realization. There's so
Yeah.
much to learn and to experience.
So that's what I'm trying to say. I am not in a
where,
position.
at what point do you have come in life?
Like
to
we say,
experience
like
this?
alpha and omega, beginning and the end.
Mhm.
So today, this is the end. Tomorrow, maybe something else. So that is why I'm saying every knowledge, it becomes a plateau in a particular situation. So after some time, oh, no, I am seeing the new reality, new dimension.
Right.
So that way, I will not be able to say, oh, I've reached this particular point, I reached that particular point. Only I have got doubts, questions, but they are not end in itself.
Interesting question. So, what are your top 3 unanswered questions that you're really eager to know the answer?
Yeah,
It's like, yes.
yeah. One is what next?
What next means?
What next means here and now we are alive.
Mm-hmm. Okay, what is
What is
there
next?
any eternal life, or you mean?
Yeah, no, I'm not speaking about the. See, I will not be able to. What next in the sense,
Mm-hmm.
the finite beings, what is their. We speak of human being as a body and soul,
Right. You
What is
mean the spiritual dimension?
spiritual dimension. One is the faith element. As Christians, we have got faith element.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, as a scientist, you feel when the plant dies, when the animal dies, it becomes part of the nature. As human beings, we feel something different. What is that different which can be eternal? That is one question is there.
What's next?
What
Okay.
next?
Mm-hmm.
Another one is about the human being. Human beings, I feel, not easy to comprehend,
Like?
whether myself or the other.
Mm-hmm.
Earlier, when I shared about the conscience, I said, I know certain level. Beyond that, I don't know. Human beings.
You mean, why are we only this capable to
No,
understand?
not in that sense. Like a particular person behaves in a particular manner in a given situation. We don't know why, what, and all these things.
Mm-hmm. It's complex.
Complex. The reality of the human person is difficult for me to understand. And the third aspect could be the world of technology. I don't know where is the end as such,
Mm-hmm.
or what way we can comprehend this particular knowledge in creating the tools. Now, today we speak of artificial intelligence,
Right.
or I have heard this CRISPR-Cas technology,
Gene editing,
gene editing, and so on.
designer babies.
Correct. So, there's something marvelous. We may have certain ethical issues and all these things, but at the same time, as the technology as such is something beautiful. Because, there is somewhere some problematic type of gene is there. Whether we can remove that and put the necessary type of a base pair and do the editing as such is something great.
Right.
Especially when it comes to pathology, when it comes to diseases as such. So, something good.
That is a very interesting question. Like, since Jesuits are the religious order in the scientific realm, so now cutting edge things are going where there's a dilemma in the ethical consideration, considering designer babies,
Yeah.
genetic engineering, genetic modification,
Yeah.
or you can treat diseases, you can give extra capability to human,
Yeah.
or beautify, or like anything, like possibilities are endless.
Yeah.
Or you can also eliminate a species, you can eliminate mosquito in that region, or for example,
Yeah.
or artificial intelligence,
Yeah.
where there is a risk, they say, like a dystopian, like a risk to humanity or something. But what I want to know is, what is the decision framework for, as a Jesuit? You guys deal both faith as well as, humanities as well as scientific inquiry. So where is the what is the decision framework in that? What do you say about genetical engineering?
Yeah. It's once again an area where you require a lot of knowledge.
Right.
And we cannot give a authentic answer without having a proper knowledge. But the search has to continue. I'm trying to what good can be done for the humanity, it has to be done. But how it has to be done, when it has to be done, we have people who are experts in that particular field. So that is why even before a particular species comes to existence in a given land, there are some regulatory authorities are there. Now, what is the role of the regulatory authorities is what way it is going to affect the native flora, what way it is going to create imbalance in the society. From that point of view, we have to see ethical point of view and the faith point of view and come to a kind of a balanced type of a decision. That is why we ask what the church says, what somebody else says from the particular geographical area, what is their mindset, what particular tribe feels. So that is why we take the human beings with certain respect and dignity, take the multiple views. Sometimes we say we need to take some more time. You need to come of age, then only you put into practice. Now, just now we have got BT cotton in India, while the other crops have not yet come. Maybe after some time they may be approved also. That is why we are saying what are the certain risks are there and how they can be minimized, and accordingly when all the parameters are tested and approved, something can come to the reality. Same thing with the human beings also I see. Today we are limited in our knowledge, but this knowledge can be understood by people, especially in the faith circles also. I think it becomes a reality. So we require a lot of patience and perseverance, but at the same time do not stop your research. Do not stop you asking certain relevant questions. Life becomes beautiful only when there is a creative tension between two poles as such. Then the life can progress as such. It is not without tensions things are possible.
What do you mean by creative tensions?
Creative tension means like there are some polarities are there.
Like good and bad or
Good and
something?
bad also.
Okay.
What is this?
Yin
What is
and
that?
yang, okay.
Yeah. So I'm saying that is a constant effort as such. A struggle is involved.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Like maybe example I can give the creation of a pearl. Some irritation is there, but in the process of irritation, something new will come out.
So, okay, before we end the podcast, my last question as a Jesuit scientist, what do you think the life is all about?
Life is all about facing the reality. With the
What is the reality? What do you think is reality?
reality is you are living day-to-day life with multiple situations. As I mentioned to you, in the context of Ratio Studiorum, it is a planned way of going about. Now, what is this planned way of going about? Maybe your emotions are involved, maybe your intelligence is involved, maybe your physical fitness is involved. Reading the signs of the time and respond accordingly. So, it can vary from one person to the other person. So, make it beautiful. You must leave your footprints in the memory of time.
Yeah, thank you so much, Father. I had a great conversation with you. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, and I hope the listeners will be happy and they may gain some knowledge. Thank you so much.